It is July 21, 2025, and this is episode 24, and we're going to talk about the Cincinnati Financial Freedom Blueprint. The blueprint was published in 2023, I believe June of 2023, and it is an effort that follows the Cities for Financial Empowerment, which is a national nonprofit that is in the family of the Bloomberg Philanthropies. And as far as I can tell, the Cities for Financial Empowerment have probably in the area of 150 cities or so that have joined their fund or participates in their fund, and they have a program or a effort called it's Cities for Financial Empowerment, and this program where the blueprint is developed is called City Start, and there are 45 cities in the City Start program, including Cincinnati. And so this is not a case where our city leaders and our city council, they sit around the table and roll their sleeves up and come up with this blueprint. It's actually a template that is provided by the Cities for Financial Empowerment, or the City Start program, and then the cities customize it to their own situation. And I guess at some point either they approach the city or somebody mentioned this to Mayor Purval that wouldn't this be great to do, and so they've developed this plan. This is the cover sheet of the plan. You can see it's dated in 23, and it has 6 areas that it's going to concentrate on, and then within those 6 areas, which I'll tell you about here in a minute, within those 6 areas there are what they call interventions, and these are things that the city is going to do in each of these categories to help people achieve financial freedom. And it looks like the plan was funded, I believe, to the tune of a couple $1 million in 23, which would be fiscal year 24. If this blueprint was June of 23, so that was at the end of fiscal 23. So the appropriation will come in FY 24, and in September of 23, again, which is in fiscal 24, Reggie Harris made a motion that they wanted a report back from the city manager in 30 days on how to spend $2.125 million on the Cincinnati Financial Freedom Blueprint. And so in January of 24, so 3 months later, the city manager came out with a memo, the report responsive to the motion, on what they would do with the money. And I'll get into that in a minute. But first I'm just going to let you see how this is working in other cities, or what other cities are doing, because they're all very, very similar. They don't invent the wheel. So here's Jackson, Tennessee. That's their report cover. This is South Bend, Indiana. That's their, whoops, I think I got it wrong. That's their cover. And they all have empowerment. Got to get that empowerment word in there. And then this is Leon County, Florida. And from all I can gather, this blueprint is held up as kind of a model one. And that's just a sample of the 45 that are participating in the program. For Cincinnati, the blueprint itself that was published in June of 23 has these 6 areas. They have what they call these 32 interventions. I believe almost half of those interventions in terms of the money are to be determined or are called non-monetary. Well, they're non-monetary, but they still involve staff resources on the part of the city, which I don't know whether the city tracks them or not. I don't know if I think I did a podcast about this, but I'm very curious about what all these plans cost. And I submitted a records request several months ago asking for the cost of the Green Cincinnati plan. How much did it cost to put that plan together? And the cost of the Connected Communities ordinance. How much staff resources went into coming up with the Connected Communities plan? And if you remember, they didn't have any responsive documents apparently, because they basically in their convoluted response basically was saying that they don't know how much those things cost. Well, the same is probably the case for the Financial Freedom Blueprint. I don't know whether they keep track of how much these things cost or not, but they should. So there are these non-monetary interventions. I think there's probably, 8 or 9 of those, and 8 or 9 of the, or 6 or 7 of the to be determined interventions in terms of how much they're going to cost. But the other 15 or so, however many it is, they would plan to spend $11 million on those. Now that hasn't happened yet, but they've got a plan for it. So once they have a plan for it, it's just a matter of a member of council making a motion the way that Reggie Harris did for $2 million. They can just pick out these various interventions and make a motion to fund them. So there's $11 million in the plan that the city would like to spend on the Financial Freedom Blueprint. So let me tell you the 6 areas that are in the plan. And then when the city manager responded to Reggie Harris's memo, or request for a report, she identifies 4 programs to spend $2.15 million on. So, but the original plan has 6 areas. Number 1, city solutions for creating conditions for stability and security. 5 interventions, $2.5 million. Number 2, city solutions for managing delinquent debt. 3 interventions, $1.5 million. Number 3, city solutions for job mobility and growing savings, investments, and retirement accounts. 8 interventions, $1.423 million. Number 4, city solutions for owning and keeping a home. 8 interventions, $3.45 million. And 5, city solutions for launching a business. 4 interventions for $750,000. And I forgot number 6. Number 6 is city solutions for the city and equity. 4 interventions for $1.4 million. Let me see if I can read some of the ones for number 6 here. I'm always interested in equity. Let's see here. Okay, here are some of the interventions for equity. This is $1 million for program and practice. support grassroots problem solving around key community issues through grants and action-oriented working groups such as the Boots on the Ground Fund, Safe and Clean, Accelerate Fund, and collaborative problem solving to reduce violence and improve neighborhood quality of life. So you see, Boots on the Ground is not only part of Act for Cincy that we've talked about in the past. It looks like they've also kind of put that under the Financial Freedom Blueprint, so they get a twofer out of that. And I think actually that's how a lot of their plans are. They all kind of borrow from each other. Here's another one for $40,000. Continue to leverage the priorities and concerns residents express in the annual Community Perceptions Survey to inform the city's resource allocation decisions. So that's just another 40 grand they're going to pile onto that intervention. They have, let's go to another one real quick. We'll go to the City Solutions for Owning and Keeping a Home. And let's see, the big money, they want to spend the big money on assist low-income residents in retaining their home through financial assistance for accessibility modifications. So if you're disabled in some way, they want to have a fund to help you renovate your home that is more accessible, has more accessibility characteristics. And then the other big one is $2.13 million. This is a Human Services Fund Impact Award. Fund Innovative Collaborative something to address family housing stabilization. So that's not very well defined, but the Human Services Fund Impact Award, I don't know if we talked about that or not, but in the 23 plan here, that's going to be under City Solutions for Owning and Keeping a Home. But, and I don't know whether that was done or not. I mean, it's hard enough trying to figure out what they want to spend their money on, not to mention how they spend it or how much they spend. But anyway, that Human Services Impact Award for this year, for 2025, it might be for FY26 actually, the City Council has given the United Way instructions that Impact Award will go to a new program, a new pilot program for delivering groceries. So I believe that's in one of the elements of the plan as well. So it's very much like the Green Cincinnati plan. If you go through it, it covers just about every aspect of life. So those are some examples of what's in the plan. So you had that in June of 23, then Reggie Harris comes along with a memo or a motion in September of 23 saying, hey, I want to report on how we're going to spend this money, $2 million that they must have appropriated, which I haven't traced that yet. And so in January of 24, the city manager comes up with her response. So what they're going to do is, this is in 25, I believe, they're going to do medical debt forgiveness, and the way they do that is they give a certain amount of money. I believe they work with either I think it's the University of Cincinnati Medical Center. The medical center has accounts that are past due, and they're going to forgive a certain amount of those delinquencies because the city's going to donate certain amounts of that debt. They're going to pay off a certain amount of that debt, and I guess the medical hospital will forgive the rest. So that's number one, and that's going to be, let's see, do they give $1.5 million for that. Number two is the Children's Savings Account, and they want to devote $375,000 to that, and that will help around 1,200 families. And I don't know how they reach that because they say that it's a 535 fund, and the 535 comes from Fifth Third Bank, and I think the idea was to give $500 to eligible children for a savings account, but they expect to hit 1,200 families with $375,000. That's only a little over $300 a piece, so not sure what's going on there. Number 3 is guaranteed basic income pilot. So they want to take $250,000 one-time cost, and then they plan to raise an additional $2.4 million from various philanthropic organizations. And I don't think they've done that, and you'll find out why here in a minute. But they're involving a lot of people in this one. Urban League of Greater Southwest Ohio, Up Together, United Way of Greater Cincinnati, Shriver Center on Poverty Law, Cook County Promise, which are programs that they want to go study to see how Chicago did it. The Shriver attorneys are looking at how participants in the program can avoid losing other government benefits if they take this one. So if they take this, will it make them ineligible for others? I tell you. And then they're working with Mr. Landsman's office, Hamilton County, I can't remember what those initials are, JFS, Greater Cincinnati Foundation, and Councilmember Harris's office, who is no longer with us. But they involve a lot of people there. And then finally, improve access to Cincinnati Recreation Commission child care services. But if you look at the data that they give you about the child care services, they've got a lot of vacancies in their both preschool or before school and after school. They've got vacancies all over the city. So I'm not sure what that is all about. So that was in January of 24. So presumably they carried all that out during FY25, and now comes FY26, and it looks like they're taking $250,000 out of the guaranteed basic income program, which tells me that they haven't gotten that off the ground yet. I could be wrong. And they're going to move that into this program for delivering groceries. I have no idea how that's supposed to work. I don't know if the program pays for the groceries and delivers, or just delivers. I mean, it's really not spelled out anywhere, except, Anna Albee saying something during a council meeting. But here's the thing. This requires an unbelievable amount of work. The staff capacity for the city of Cincinnati is not limitless. And they have all of these plans and programs and interventions and all this spending that they do. And it's just an incredible drain on the staff resources. So the amount of time and effort the staff has to put in to the Green New Deal, to the blueprint, to connected communities, to all of this is incredible. And when you look at what the city is using its staff for, you have to realize they don't really know how much all that costs. They don't keep track of what their staff resources require, what their projects require in terms of staff resources and how much they've spent, which I think is absolutely outrageous that they don't track that. But in addition to the staff resources, or connected to the staff resources, one thing I brought up at the budget hearing, one of the budget hearings this year that was held up at the Dunham Recreation Center, is I suggested that the city figure out or find out, and this would basically fall in the law department, what expenses, what costs the city is legally obligated to incur, legally obligated to cover. For example, there's Ohio statutes about police and fire, ambulance. There's Ohio law about streets and other infrastructure. There's all kinds of, then there's, contractual requirements. There's requirements for collective bargaining agreements. There's, et cetera. You line them out. But there are things that the city must pay for. They have to pay for it by law, by contract, by some other rule, some other arrangement. And the solicitor's office should figure all that out and share that with the budget office. And then, so that's mandatory spending. And I suggested that the city find out what this mandatory spending is and what their revenues are, and whatever is in between is discretionary. And even on the discretionary account, there are funds that need to be set aside. So maybe this goes into the mandatory category, but like all these reserves, they've got a policy on stabilization of the budget of the finances, and so that requires millions of dollars to be put into those stabilization accounts. But at the end of the year, or even throughout the year, they're moving money around all the time, from this reserve account to that account, then it's back to the reserve account, and they just constantly are moving money around. It's very difficult to track. But if they looked at the budget in terms of mandatory versus discretionary, you're going to come up with very lopsided results. The mandatory spending is probably, at least 75% of the money that's spent. And so the remainder is what you have to appropriate for all these social services. And I just don't get the sense that the city thinks that way, and that there's some limit to all this social services. Any limit that you see, it seems like it moves around, If they get an extra $1 million, or they see an extra $1 million here or there, they're going to take it and spend it on social services. And believe me, in a $2 billion budget, especially the way these guys are running the budget, they could come up with any money that the mayor wanted or the city council wanted. They would just move the money around. So it's not a matter of a money problem, but the key is to make sure that we know exactly how much we have to spend in terms of social services, and make sure that the mandatory spending is taken care of. But there's a lot that goes into it. This is just scratching the surface. It's just one of those things. I'm just very concerned that they do all this social spending, and they don't really know how much capacity they have for that in terms of both the money and the staff resources. So the financial blueprint is alive and well. We'll see what happens but in FY26, the big pilot project is going to be this grocery delivery, and we'll see how that works. And I'll probably be reporting out on that at some point when they get that going. And I should also say that hopefully for the next episode, I'll be able to launch the Citizen Watchdog with Todd Zinser website. It has come it's come along quite a way, and we're very, very close to getting it into a position to launch it. So I'm looking forward to that, and I hope it's helpful to people in terms of keeping track of what the city is doing. So until next time, thank you.